to welcome all of you to the newest South Carolina port infrastructure, the South Carolina Inland Port in Dillon, South Carolina. And I want to ask you an honest question. In your wildest dreams 5 years ago, did you ever think we'd be sitting here at the groundbreaking for an inland port in Dillon, South Carolina? No. Governor, I'll leave the rest of that for you. So anyway, so before getting started, I'd like to ask Stevie Grice, the chairman of the Dillon County Council, to lead us in the invocation and pledge.
Hello. I would like to thank everyone for being here today. I'm super excited about being here and being a part of this grand opening of the inland port. I would like to thank the port authorities, thank Harbor Freight, Harbor Electric, CSS, and I would like to thank everyone up here behind me, Governor McMaster, Senator Leatherman, Congressman Rice, Senator Williams, Representative Hayes. I would like to thank my fellow councilmen, and I would like to thank the ones that are no longer with the county that had an integral part of bringing the inland port to Dillon County. This wasn't accomplished last week or last year at the groundbreaking, but this was a work by many over the last 3 years to make today a success. Let us pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for allowing us to be here today. Lord, I thank you for the inland port and the many opportunities and economical growth it will bring to Dillon County and our citizens. I thank you for our government leaders and for all their work and efforts in bringing the port here. I pray for our leaders that we continue to work diligently and to make the right decision to move this county forward. Lord, I pray that you will continue to bless us, and we thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. And I pray this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. At this time, I would like to ask one of our local high school students, Mr. Jacory McCall, if he will come up and lead us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. This is a young man that I believe has a bright future as a leader in Dillon County, just like the inland port is the key to Dillon County's future.
As a student at Dillon High School, I'm beyond grateful and I'm trembling right now and honored to stand in this spot that will have a lasting impact on families, generations to come in the PD area. Moments like this make me happy to be a native of Dillon County, a great South Carolinian, but most importantly an American. So I want to take this time to give thanks to this great country that we live in. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a momentous day for the South Carolina Ports Authority as we extend the logistical capability provided by the port to the PD region in Dillon County. It's very similar to what we did 5 years ago at Greer. We had Mr. Finkley there on a day when we announced this opportunity, and then we followed that up with a groundbreaking here last March. This is a $50 million investment which fully supports the 5 planks of our strategic plan, which are ensuring that the port works well, investing significantly in infrastructure, growing our cargo base, increasing intermodal efficiency, which means using more rail to move containers, and really enhancing the effectiveness of our people. So all of that comes into play in this inland port facility. To be clear, the port is about business, jobs, and infrastructure. And we're adding 18 people to our team here, as we'll have 18 employees to start in the inland port in Dillon. Unfortunately, today we have more people here than we have containers, but that's going to change pretty soon, actually. It won't take too long for that to happen. So I would really, on this occasion, like to thank our board who are represented here today, our chairman and chairman emeritus, Bill Stern, Vice Chairman Dave Posick, Secretary Coach Jeffries, Treasurer Kirk Grindstaff, Pamela Lackey, Kenny Jackson are here today as well, and I think Whit Smith and Dave Posick are on the way, and Wes Jones could not be here today. Without their leadership and support, we could not make investments like this. Also like to thank a personal friend of mine and a former chairman, Bill Bethay from Hilton Head. Most of you know that Bill Bethay grew up in Dillon, South Carolina, and he's very encouraging to us all along the way in developing this, offered any help that he could give us. But to be clear, although you see a lot of equipment here and infrastructure, the secret sauce of the port is really the 600 people that work for the port. The people that make things happen for us. Anybody can build a crane and RTG, but it's good people that make the port effective. So I'm very, very, very proud of Michael Elmore, Michael, raise your hand. Michael Elmore is going to run the inland port facility here. He's a veteran of the port. He's one of the best people that we have. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to have him here. Equally, we have two senior rubber tire gantry operators here today. And they relocated from other places. One is Tyler Sloan. He's from Greer, South Carolina. He moved here from South Carolina Inland Port in Greer, so he's very familiar with rail operations. Tyler, raise your hand. And the other is Matt Mastro Domenico. And y'all all lost your bet because I knew how to pronounce it, right? So pay up. We're going to have a beer later. So, and he's from the North Charleston terminal, so he relocated here as well. What I think you'll find about them is they'll be a great addition to the community here. They're both family people. They have wife and children. If you like to hunt and fish, they like to hunt and fish, so I'm sure they'd appreciate getting invited for a hunting trip or a fishing trip somewhere along the way so they could find their way. And we are very, very grateful for their leadership here because it takes leadership to make a port successful. And I'm very happy and grateful to you both for agreeing to come here. So thank you very much. Let's give them a hand. And you see these beautiful wide-span rubber tire gantry cranes here, and we have a custom in the port where we ask school students to compete in a naming competition to name these pieces of equipment, and we have two very deserving winners, and I think we'll ask them to come up here when we call their name. The first is with the name of Incredible Hulk, which is that crane there. J.P. Bly, if you would come up for a second. And then the second winner with the name Bluesaurus Rex, great name, Emily Baxley. I think you all agree having such creative kids are really mean that we have a bright future ahead of us here in this region, in this state. So I was at a thing the other night because Anita Zucker and Mary Thornley presided over that, and she had a hook, which was to keep people from speaking too long. So she said I could borrow the hook. I didn't get a chance to do that, but there is an implied hook here. I just want to make you aware of that. But anyway, so I'll keep my remarks short. And I'd like to first of all welcome the Dillon County Administrator, Rodney Berry, to say a few words. So Rodney.
Oh, not necessary, but I would say hoorah as I customarily do. Good morning. The hoorah is for friends like Bill Bethay, who served in the Marine Corps. That's what we say when we're excited, right, Bill? It was just a little over a year ago when birth was given to this facility. And I think today we're raising a child, embarking on a tremendous journey. The old folks used to say, and many of you heard those, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And our village has the obligation to nurse this child, to strengthen it, to expose it to diverse partners, to grow it, to paying attention. We're going to do this with our village. So let me introduce you to our village, and then I'm going to sit down. But this village is very important. It's a village that's been working to support this child for some time. We start off with the South Carolina Ports Authority. These folks are so aggressive, and they do it so well. It's been a pleasure to work with them in every way. No way we would be here today if it wasn't for their forethought. Our U.S. delegation. Senator Graham, and we have folks here today. Will you raise your hand? Thank y'all for being here. Senator Scott. Senator Scott had a lot to do with this. He's a former teammate of mine at Presbyterian College. I could not be prouder of anybody more than I could Senator Scott. My former boss, Congressman Rice, hardest working man in Washington. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Our governor, who comes quite often, and we thank you for that, sir. In your Commerce Department, I see Daniel Young sitting back there. The things that we have done with your assistance has been amazing. Thank you, sir. Our state delegation, Senator Williams, love you, man. Representative Hayes, I see Senator Embry and Lucas. Hey, buddy. Thank y'all for the involvement that you do. Nisa, Jeff, thank you, man. Nisa's our regional economic development partner, and man, they're aggressive too. We thank you. Marlboro Electric team, I see William Fleming and his crew here. Very capable, very aggressive. Great partners. Thank y'all. Excited what we're going to do together. SCDOT, Kyle Berry, I say your name because you're who I call on. It's taken a tremendous amount of work around here. Thank you, sir. CSX, what a partner. All right. I spoke of the village. Okay, let me tell you about the parents and people that are near and dear to me. And I'm going to ask you to stand. Stevie Rice, our chairman. I'm speaking to county council now. James Hoghead Campbell. Went to school with James. Archie Scott, former chairman. Harold Moody, I saw you in the back. Didn't I? Raise your hand, please. Buzzy Finkley. And we have one more member that's coming on, Jerome McLeod, who could not be here today, and our staff, thank you. I'm sitting down now, but let me say this in closing. These small rural towns, we gather once a year, and we celebrate prayer, National Day of Prayer, right? All right, let us recognize today, or I'm going to recognize today, none of this is possible without the favor of God. He has answered small rural South Carolina by delivering this beautiful child here today that we're going to grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rodney. I also would like to extend our thanks to Marlboro Electric and William Fleming. Without your encouragement and hard work, I mean, you really gave us the impetus to get this done, so thank you very much. So we're very, very grateful to the South Carolina House of Representatives for all the support that we get. We couldn't do what we do investing in the infrastructure without them. And I'm pleased to introduce today Representative Jackie Coach Hayes to speak to us about the inland port. So Coach Hayes, thank you.
Talk about a state championship. Well, Dillon County won one today, I can tell you that. But thank you for the opportunity, and you know, that word opportunity is a big word, and it comes with challenges. Rodney spoke a lot about all the people that are on the team. And I see one of the mission statements for the Ports Authority is the number one thing of their mission statement is about leadership. And this is about bringing the team together. Ports Authority, you've got a great team there in Columbia with Tate and Jordy. We've been working on this project for quite a while. And it took a lot of people to bring this together. Nobody didn't do this by themselves. It took a team effort. I remember about 20 years ago, Senator Leatherman called my office and said, Coach, could you come over and have a meeting? We want to talk about starting something called NISA. I said, golly, what in the world's that? Well, it's about bringing all the counties together and trying to bring the projects together. Well, when we first started off, you know, other areas were getting the project. The senator said, Coach, you've got to learn to be patient. You've got to learn to be patient. With patience, good things happen. And it shows here today. And it's about all these people working together for one cause to make this state and this region bigger and better for the people that we're going to serve. And it's just like these children here. This will create tremendous opportunities for you as you grow. Hopefully this will be an opportunity when you graduate from high school. It'll create jobs and things for you to do to make you want to come back to Dillon. We got some great people in Dillon County. We got great people all over this state. The leadership is tremendous, And I thank you so much, and I want to thank the Ports Authority for choosing Dillon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach Hayes. Everything we do in the port is linked, meaning that we don't have an inland port in Dillon and we can't build new infrastructure in Charleston, such as a new container terminal, if we can't deepen our harbor, if we don't have another inland port in Greer. So everything is orchestrated together to make a really good product. And when we opened the inland port in Greer, everybody was kind of confused. They said, well, what river are you deepening to get to Greer? It's actually 4 rivers to get close to Greer. I don't know how many rivers it takes to get close to Dillon, but this is not served by a ship, actually. It's served by a railroad. And we would not be here today without the partnership that we have with the CSX Railroad. And I think it goes without saying that we can't move freight without them. Rail is becoming an increasing part of the intermodal landscape with the shortage of truckers and things like that. So we're very grateful to CSX for providing the wonderful train service here. And we're happy to have Kellen Riley, who's our manager of industrial development, here today. And Kellen's a great supporter. He's based in South Carolina, so he's kind of biased, actually. So, anyway, Kellen, welcome.
Good morning. What a very exciting day for Dillon County, state of South Carolina. I want to thank all our state and local leaders, as well as our business industry leaders, many of you up here with me today, for all your hard work and dedication to this project. We're very excited to be here. We've got quite a few folks from our transportation team here. If you could raise your hands in the back, they'll take care of us. It's been actually a very quick process, even though we thought from the beginning it would go quite a bit different. We're very excited to see it come to fruition finally. We're very happy to have a strong anchor partner in Harbor Freight. I know they will continue to be a great success story for the city and the area. And as Rodney Berry can attest, and certainly our folks from NISA, Jeff McKay's team, and our partners at the port, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We probably daily, continuously, are fielding phone calls, coordinating meetings and visits with various industries and numerous customers interested to see how Dillon can support their businesses as well. From CSX perspective, we see this as yet another very large piece of a strong freight rail network within the state, and know that will continue that way. We look forward to being able to service this industry. We do know that with CSX's A-line just to the right of us here, we can access nearly 2/3 of the U.S. population in every major metropolitan market along the East Coast. So with that, I know that we have all the strong ingredients for a successful endeavor. Look forward to servicing you. Congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you, Kellen. I guess you all know, you don't invest $50 million on a build it and they will come strategy. So we have an inland port because we have freight and we have cargo. And the anchor tenant for this inland port, and the reason that we're building it, frankly, is Harbor Freight Tools, who have committed to over 3 million square feet of distribution space here. I think by far your largest distribution center, maybe only 2 in the U.S. And so we're very grateful to have Robbie Robertson here today, who's their Vice President of East Coast Distribution Operations. He's a proud graduate of the University of Alabama, the national champions in football, and he's promised not to make me feel bad about being a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers. So Robbie, without further ado.
First of all, greetings from the Harbor Freight family. I'm extremely proud to be standing up here today, not only to represent my company, but also to represent this very proud community. I'm very humbled to stand here with this distinguished group of delegates, both from Congressman Rice, the governor, senators, other local leaders here in the community. I was going to tell a football joke, but I guess I can't now. But I was kind of coached to stay away from football, so all I want to say is roll tide. There's nothing else. So I wasn't sure what to talk about here, and I'm going to keep my comments brief. But I recalled a long time ago, in fact about 50 years ago, when I was having a conversation with my grandfather. Now, my grandfather had a third grade education, went to work for TCI when he was 14 years old. He was a steel worker until he retired at the age of 65. Now he's passed away and gone on to be with the Lord. But one day when I was very young, I guess I was maybe 7 years old, I looked up at my 6'7" grandfather and said, we called him Big Bob. Big Bob, what exactly is it you do? He said, son, I turn the wheels of industry. And you know, I didn't have a clue what that meant then, but I think I have some idea now. I did not know it then, but the wheels of industry do not turn by themselves. It takes men and women of vision. It takes men and women with a passion for achievement. And it takes men and women who have courage. We at Harbor Freight think we possess all of these qualities in an inexhaustible supply. And we're very proud to align ourselves with a community and a group of people who think that way. And that's you. Everybody out here in this audience. So with my closing comment, I want to say, keep turning the wheels of industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Robbie, very much. I neglected to tell you, we sent our 2 senior RTG operators out to the RTGs, and there's a ribbon there. It happens to be orange, by the way, but there's no coincidence in that, I guess. But anyway, and they'll be part of the ceremony to do the ribbon breaking a bit later. So Senator Williams. Senator Williams is one of the biggest supporters of the port. He sits on many committees that oversee the port. He's been a great supporter, great friend. And we've talked about this for quite some time now, and I know that he is the proudest of almost anybody here today about the South Carolina Inland Port in Dillon. So Senator Williams, welcome. Look forward to hearing your remarks.
Good morning. What a great day here in Dillon, South Carolina. Whoever would have dreamed of an inland port? Jim, Governor, Congressman, Senators, Representatives, that we would be having a grand opening here today. Inland Port here in Dillon, South Carolina. What it tells me, all things are possible. I want to recognize my colleagues in the South Carolina Senate. I see Senator Gerald Malloy. Raise your hand, Senator. Senator Greg Henry. Thank you all for being here. You know, I can remember over a year ago, and this is a true story. I believe it was Tate Ziegler with the Ports Authority, Coach Jeffries, who serves on the board, who's seated right here, the legendary, good to see you, Coach, came to my office in Columbia. They scheduled a meeting. And my assistant said to me, Senator, the Ports Authority folk want to meet with you. I said, gee, wonder what's that about? So we sat the meeting, so they come into the office and they sat down, and the first thing they said to me, they said, Senator, we are here today to give you the good news. I said, 2 days ago, we met with Senator John Matthews, Chairman Leatherman, and we gave him the bad news. We're building an inland port in Dillon, South Carolina. And here today, it has come to fruition. And my heart was warmed that day, and it is even warmer today. I know today we are gathered here for what is billed as a grand opening. But when I see all that has been accomplished in nearly a year since the groundbreaking of this facility, I view this event as the opening of something grand. For me, Today, it's about investment. The return on the investment will be measured in part increased efficiency and productivity for our business community as a result of the efforts of the South Carolina Ports Authority. But that return on the investment also will be measured in people. For with this ceremony today, we mark a significant investment in the future of Dillon, Marlboro, Marion counties, and the entire PD region. And the impact will be measured in an enhanced quality of life for years to come. The creation of this hub has brought together local and state officials as well as business leaders to move this community and region forward. All came to the table with a shared goal, and through those efforts, we will be able to create jobs and raise the standard of living in this region. Today offers proof of how we can work together across our many divides to strengthen the framework of our economy. Today also is a testament to the state's investment in economic development and enhancing South Carolina's competitiveness. Our investment in higher education, particularly our technical colleges, aids in workforce development. We can train workers to fill the current workforce needs for this facility and many, many more to come. I recognize the work of this facility is all about logistics, but Inland Port Dillon is more than that. It represents a move in the right direction for this great community in which we live. Thank you, God bless you, and we look forward to many, many more grand openings here in this region. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Williams. As you know, there are many chairmen in the world. We have a chairman of the Ports Authority who I introduced earlier, but there's one man who we very affectionately know as the chairman. He's the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. He's the president pro tem of the Senate. There is no more ardent supporter of the efforts of our Ports Authority. He led the charge in 2012 to set aside $300 million to support the deepening of our harbor, and because of that, we're actually deepening our harbor today. We're building a small new container terminal named the Leatherman Terminal in North Charleston, which we're very proud of, and it's a real honor to have Senator Hugh K. Leatherman here, Sr. here today to speak to us. So, Senator Leatherman.
Jim, thank you. What a great day, a wonderful day. A little bit cool. Beyond that, it is a great day. See some of us sort of holding our hands to our chest, and that's okay. The facility we have here today, what I see is South Carolina investing, continuing to invest in our future. You know, some years back, some folks came to me, Bill Stern, I believe in particular, said that we need to do another inland port. You know, we got one up in Greer. And I said, that sounds like a good idea. What do you think about putting it? He said, well, we're trying to make that decision. I said, well, do you have one in the PD? And he said, no. Bill, I thank you. Y'all saw the line. And today we see the results of that. Jim mentioned the harbor deepening in South Carolina down in Charleston, $300 million plus. I think before they get through down there, the terminal looking at about $1.2 billion invested in our port system to get the containers in and out. But we appreciate the port and the entire port board for what you're doing. I see present chairmen, former chairmen, and members of that board. We thank you so much for what you've done. What we're looking at today will open the PD section of South Carolina to the world, be the gateway to the world. And think about it, next day service to Charleston down to the port. We've never had that before, we do have it now. You know, when I look out there and I see Incredible Hulk and this area, some kind of Rex over there, I'm not sure what it says. $41 million initial investment here, and I think you're projected about maybe, let's see, I think we're looking at about 40,000 containers, Jim. I believe I'm right on that to start with. That will grow. Let's look up at Greer for a moment. They did that some years back. They projected 100,000 per year within 5 years. But today they're moving 120,000 out of there. Think of what this future has and holds for us. Robbie Robertson, thank you. Thank Harbor Freight. Without y'all, we could not be here. Thank you so much for that. Let's give Robbie a round of applause. I want to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, what we're seeing here today is not the final thing going to happen here. You'll be with me, I'll be with you. We'll keep pressing forward. And I can't even imagine 10 years from now what we'll be looking at in this facility in this area. So it's critical to the future of our area. It's critical to providing jobs, good paying jobs for our people. Jim, thank you, your port, all the legislators here, what you've done to allow us to come here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can imagine, we rely very heavily on our federal congressional delegation, and certainly Senator Scott's team is here today, and Senator Graham's team is here. We're grateful for that. The congressman from this area is Congressman Tom Rice, and Tom has been a loyal supporter of the port. We need money from the federal government to deepen our harbor. They are all over every need that we have. I get frequent phone calls from Tom and saying, what can I do to help you? And we have talked many times, and this is all about infrastructure here. And there's some other important infrastructure. It starts with an I. I think it's called I-73. That would probably serve this area very well and might be a very important addition to help us improve the functionality of this port. So Congressman Rice, we're grateful for you being here today. We know you're busy, and thanks for your support.
You know, America has a lot of nicknames. Land of the free, home of the brave. My favorite is the land of opportunity. Opportunity. Every child has the opportunity to fulfill their dreams. They're not caught in a class like almost everywhere else in the world. It's what sets us apart. Land of opportunity. Every child has the opportunity to go and get a good job and surpass their parents. It's like nowhere else. And you know, infrastructure, in my opinion, equals opportunity. Think about this. Charleston Port is the biggest and most important piece of infrastructure in South Carolina. It relates to 1 in every 11 jobs in South Carolina. Well, what has that done for the Charleston area? Charleston area, the average income is about $55,000 a month. Unemployment rate's about 3.5%. They had their population has grown by 13% over the last 5 years. Wow, think about that. Now we've got right here 3 of the poorest counties in South Carolina: Marion, Dillon, Marlboro. Average unemployment close to 8%. Average wage, $30,000, about half of what y'all have. Double the number of people living in poverty. Declining populations, why is that? Because there's been a lack of opportunity. Well, guess what? The people sitting here in this room saw that and responded to it. And I don't think people recognize how huge this facility is to this very poor area of South Carolina and what it will do to transform the future of your children and your grandchildren. This is not conjecture, this is fact. And when you combine it with I-73, another very important piece of infrastructure, and you run it from 74 above the North Carolina line, Charlotte 74 to 73, the Dillon Inland Port. Think about what that will do. Think about that cargo that might otherwise end up in Wilmington ends up through the Charleston port, and how important that will be, and how many thousands of jobs that will create for your children and your grandchildren. This is a generationally transformative thing. Now, all these people here have been thanked over and over again, so I'm not going to recognize everybody and ask them to stand up. But these guys sitting here with the Ports Authority, with the state legislature, with the state senate, with the county council, on up. You know, too often politicians talk about, they speak in very aspirational terms. And aspiration is great, and we need to be uplifted. But this is not aspirational, this is real. You can see it. You're sitting on the concrete right now, and this will change this area. And I'm very proud of the very limited part that I played in it. But I want to recognize one guy. This fella, he worked for me for a few years. And he was born in the PD and raised in the PD, and he eats, sleeps, and drinks, and his heart beats the PD, and that's my friend Rodney Berry sitting right there. And I'll tell you, Rodney, probably everybody in this place knows him better than they know me. And when this was initially proposed, Rodney saw the potential quicker than I did, quicker than most people did. And he has been the champion of this port since the day that it was ever conceived. And my only problem with it is when it became real, he left me and came to work for Dillon County. I will tell you, he holds you in his heart. And he worked tirelessly to make this thing real. So, I just want to pause for a minute and reflect on, think about what this means for this area. Land of opportunity. Not land of guarantee. Land of opportunity. It is being delivered in large measure right here today. Thank you for everybody who played a part in it. I'm very honored to represent you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Congressman Rice. It's a great honor today to have the 117th governor of the state of South Carolina here, Governor Henry McMaster. There's nothing more important for a port than to have the support of the state's governor. The governor is the leader of the state, and especially in economic development and business efforts, and Governor McMaster, you play that role fantastically well. Governor McMaster served on our board prior to his election as governor. He gets the port, he gets business, and he's all in for what we do. So Governor McMaster, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Jim Newsom. Y'all, I'll be very brief. One reason it's all been said so well, and also I'm freezing to death just like all of y'all. This is a big deal, but Jim started the story, so I got to finish it about the wildest dream. Maybe you've heard that. I was on the way to the National Republican. I'm a Republican. I went to the National Republican Convention, and I called Peggy and said, Peggy, did you ever in your wildest dream see your husband, Henry, going to nominate Donald Trump at the National Convention to be President of the United States? She said, I hate to tell you, Henry, I ain't never seen you in any of my wildest dreams. But this used to be a dream. But as has been said, y'all, this is a very big deal. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning of great things that are going to happen. Our port is spectacular. We're getting ready, and there's been great leadership. This is what success looks like. All these people that have been mentioned, all these people here, all these institutions we've been referring to, and these ideas and thought over the years, this wasn't something put together in the last minute. It took a lot of thinking to do this. A lot of people have contributed a lot over the years to see these kind of things happen. Just since I've been in this office, we've announced 18,000 new jobs and $5 billion worth of investment. And it's just beginning. It's all coming our way. In this position, I talk to people from all over the world, and they are thrilled with what they see happening in South Carolina. And I tell you, they're thrilled with the people of South Carolina. They say South Carolina is a handshake state. When somebody in South Carolina looks you in the eye and shakes your hand and gives you their word, you can depend on it. You can take it to the bank. And they say this is the only state in the United States where that's happening. So we are strong and getting stronger. I'd like to remind you, our port going to 52 feet under great leadership has been mentioned, going to 52 feet. We're going to be deeper than Miami, deeper than Norfolk, deeper than New York, New Jersey. This will be the dominant port. Charleston will be on the Atlantic coast in just a few years. And one of those reasons, because we got not one but two inland ports. People in other states don't even know what it is. Nobody has got a good one like we have at Greer, and nobody's going to have two. We are so far ahead in innovation and ideas and hard work and thinking of the rest of the country that it just spells great things for these young people who are here that will grow up in a place where they can get jobs, have strong families, and prosper. There's a new kind of prosperity that's coming to South Carolina, and it hadn't been by accident. So I want to thank everybody for doing what you've been doing, all the leadership, all the thinking that's gone into this. This is a great day for South Carolina. Y'all, we're going right straight to the top, and don't ever do anything but be proud of South Carolina. We're going right to the top. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor McMaster. So I need to give one last thanks to about 50 people from the port here today, many of them in bright green vests and with hard hats on. And they made all this possible today. I mean, they've worked tirelessly. This facility was built in a year. That's not a small accomplishment. I'd also like to thank the SCDOT for paving the last increment of road infrastructure here the other night. Actually, Christy, thanks to you and your team. So all that remains of this ceremony is to actually open the inland port and to have the ribbon expansion and ribbon breaking. So I would like to ask Michael Elmore, who is going to be our terminal manager here, and again, I could not be prouder of Michael. Michael ran our port in Georgetown. He's agreed to move over here and run this, and we couldn't have a better representative of the port here. So Michael, again, congratulations to you. So there's an Amtrak train coming by here at 11:30. We convinced Amtrak to run it. Not really, but anyway. And I guess it'll be on time, actually. I hope so, at least. Anyway. But so basically the way this works, everybody's got an orange flag. We're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. We're going to lower the flag, open the flags, lower them, and then Michael will radio to the operators there to Incredible Hulk and Blue Saurus Rex, and then we're on our way. So everybody, if you raise your flag, stand and raise your flag. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Blue Saurus Rex, Incredible Hulk, are you ready? Boys 6,